It's always good to check your nuts. Today, on In the Wood Yard, I threw a chain while I was cutting the other day. It needs to be fixed. Let's get to work. So the other day I was cutting in the woods and it was cold and I was at the end of the day and I was cutting fast and I noticed my chain was loose, which when you notice your chain is loose, you should stop and tighten it. And it was real loose. I mean, it was hanging down quite a bit, probably a good, half an inch on the bottom. I noticed, and I just kept cutting, and I was cutting in brush, and I was cutting trees, that had a lot of force on them as far as, pushing down, and I was twisting the saw back and forth and in and out of the brush and things like that. There's a lot of tension on the log. I was cutting the tree, and it threw the chain, which wasn't the end of the world because I was tired and wet and cold and lonely and scared and all that stuff anyway, so it was just time to quit cutting, so I did. But today I am going to fix it. One of the reasons I'm going to talk about this is I never knew about this. No one ever told me. I never saw a video on it. I just figured it out for myself. Now this is an older chain and it's not a great chain. I'm probably going to replace it, but it's going to be a good demonstration chain to show you how to put the chain back on. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, you just put the chain back on. Aha, but there's the key. Sometimes you can't just put it back on. When you throw a chain, a lot of times your drive links, the ones that go into your bar here, like right here, this is a tight one, I found it, it will not go in. I mean, I can just start to get it started into the, whoop, there it went in. If I push real hard, I can get it in. But it doesn't want to go in to the groove here on the bar. And the reason is a lot of times when you throw a chain, it will throw itself and it gets caught and then you get burrs on the drive links, on the tips of them. And a lot of guys will just say, well, that chain is ruined, it's no good anymore, but it's not ruined. If you've got the time and the patience, you can fix them. Now, if you bend it, that changes it. Then it's a little harder. If you actually get a kink in your chain, which can happen, that's really hard to fix. And I've straightened them by just bending them and getting them pretty darn straight. But what I do is, when I'm in the woods, I take my Dremel, which is right here. I take the Dremel and I find those little burrs that are on the edge of the drive links and I grind them off. And I didn't want to do that the other day when I was out there because I was done cutting. But this chain, I'm just going to demonstrate for you how to grind those off and how to get your bar, how to get the chain back on the bar, basically. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about that. Here we go. So the first challenge is to find the burrs. When you go to put your chain on, you will find that some of them, like this top edge here, like right here's one that's going in really hard. I can see it's got a little kink there. Sometimes they'll go in just fine. Sometimes you got to force them in. And if you can force them in and they go in, a lot of times you can still run it, and what happens is as you're running the saw, it'll just loosen up. You'll wear it down enough that you'll be fine. But sometimes you can't get it in. They don't go because the tips of the drive links here are bent or have burrs on, like I mentioned. Now, at one time, I didn't have my Dremel, and I would take a chain off, put it in, lay it down on the edge of the vise, and I would just use a file, and I would file those off. You just kind of keep working on it. But what I found is the Dremel works way better, and it's way faster. And having the portable Dremel and having it on location is really key because that's where you need it. And I have fixed them when I come back, too. That's another big reason why I use 2 or 3 or 4 chainsaws when I go to cut. So if you get a problem with one, you set it down, you grab the next one. That's really the best solution at the moment, but then you eventually got to fix it. So like I said, you can use your file and file them down. It does take a lot more time. It's a lot more putsy. It's really time consuming. I find the Dremel is the fastest and it works really well, really slick, and it does a great job. The key though is to not take too much off. You don't want to grind that whole thing off so that it's just a nub. When you're grinding, you basically don't want to grind this direction, you want to grind the same direction. So when you're grinding, you're basically running your stone along the edge of it and just kind of taking off the edge a little. And I'll show you kind of close up if I can do that. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing you want to do is put gloves on because chains are sharp. I've cut myself lots of times because I didn't have my gloves on. So what you're going to do first is you're going to take the nut off. Now for demonstration purposes and so I can see because I'm old and I need more light, I'm going to turn my shop light on I have right here because I use this whenever I'm working. So basically the first thing you do is you loosen up the nuts and you're going to take your cover off. So I'm just going to get that done. And I take the glove off because I can't really do this with the glove on. So, and this is a saw that has the keeper nuts, the ones that don't come off. And like I said before, I like them and I hate them. Sometimes they come off real easy like this. Other times you got to loosen up your chain tensioner a little bit because there's too much tension on the actual bar, but this one's not a problem. So the next thing I'm going to do is then I'm going to take the bar off, and we're going to tip the bar upside down like this, and I'm going to try to find where the links are where it's not going in. And so far we're pretty good. So far we're still good. I can see they're going in harder though. So I just kind of keep testing it here, keep testing it, keep testing it, keep testing. So this side is actually not too bad. Well, let's check the other side. I'll spin this around. I'll check the other one out. It's going there, it's going there. It's a little, see, it doesn't go in tight right there. I can feel it that it's got some burrs there, so I just kind of keep checking this all the way down here. Usually it's in one or two spots. Right here's another one. See how that won't go in? That's as far as that's going to go right there. So these couple teeth right here, or drive links right here, need to be bent in, and then that's probably the spot. So I'm guessing that's probably where it is right there. So we're going to take the chain off. I'm going to hold it right here so I know that's the two. I'm going to pop it off like this, pop off the bar, and I'm going to be holding these links right here the whole time so I know those are the ones. So they are right here, these links, and if I feel them, yep, there's a burr on this one especially right here, and you can't see in the camera, but it's got a little burr on it right where my thumb is right there. I can feel it, and that's what's making it stop. Now I could probably just jam this in and make it go, but I'm going to grind on it just a tiny little bit here and show you what I do to fix them. So again, the first thing I do, I put on my glasses because I have bifocals on here. They're cheaters. They're like 2 power, which was really nice for seeing up close. Put my earmuffs on, put gloves on, and I've got the chain hanging right here, so it's gonna be really hard to see on camera, but I'm gonna flip this around, hopefully, so that you guys can see. I'm gonna try to get as close as I can here, because the two that have the burrs are this one, this tooth right here, and this drive link. These two drive links are the ones that have the burrs. I can actually see the burr. I'm gonna try to get close here with the camera and show you. Try to get as close as I can. Hopefully it'll focus this close. Right there, there's a burr, and right on the tip, it's a burr. It's kind of, you can see it's got some scarring on it, and then this one's also got right there where I'm pointing has a little scarring right on there too. So right there. So that's what I'm gonna start on. So I'm gonna try to do this just kind of up close so you guys can see. It's not that big a deal, but all you do is you just grind off that little bit of a tip right there and right there. And then the next one, we'll take that little bit off. Actually, if you look right there, you can see where it's got a little scarring. So I just kind of tickle it is all I do. And again, I'm trying just to take the burr off is all I'm trying to do. It's got a little burr on it here. So that might be all there was, is that. But we're going to put it on now and give it a try and see if that's it. And if there's any more, then I will grind those off. So again, all I'm going to do is just put the tip of the, put the chain on the tip, go around, and try just to place it all the way down like this. Basically, just try to make sure that it's going down, and then you try to move it a little bit. And I can see it's pretty good all the way through there. So we'll just keep checking these drive links all the way down. And this one was not bad at all. Right here I can see this one went in hard, right? Here I can feel it, right? There, I'd actually push these two to get in. They're not terrible though, but I'm gonna hold on to these two. I'm gonna take it back off. And then I'm gonna grind these two teeth, or two drive links. Right here, and I kind of always flip them around so they're facing out. Yeah, I can see it's got a little bit of a burr right there, so we're going to take that one off next. And we'll do both sides to it. And the next one also. And I think that's going to be it. It looks like those are the ones. I mean, you can look at them, and the way I do a lot of times is I'll pull it off and I'll look at it obviously up close, but then if you feel it, you can just run your fingers, and you can usually, if you kind of pinch it and slide your fingers back and forth on the drive links like this, you kind of just slide your fingers, you can feel the ridges. So I'm just going to do that all the way down the whole thing here. So far I don't feel, oh, right there's one right here for sure. This one right here has got a big burr on the back I can feel. Now you guys can't see it because I can't really see it, but I sure can feel it. It like wants to cut me. So that is the next one that I'm going to grind on. So I'm going to flip it around like this. Make sure that's the one, yeah, right there. It's got a big burr on the tip, so we're going to grind that one. And usually you find 3 or 4 right in a row is where it will have the problem where it caught and had damage. Do the ones next to it just in case. And I'm going to give them a feel again. And again, I'm just tickling it is all I'm doing. I'm not really like pushing with a lot of pressure. Oh, still got some burr on this one. Yeah, this one right here. And the next one's got a little bit. That's not terrible though. I'll just give it another little shot here. We'll give it a little more of a smooth grind here. Pretty good, I think. So let's try to slap it on again and see what happens. Okay, so we're just fitting it all the way down here. It seems to be going good. You can usually tell right away if it's going to go in. Yep, they're going in just fine into the groove. Yep, that side's all pretty good. Let's check this side. Yep, they're all going in just fine so far. Yep, still good. Still good. So I think we're good. Well, the only thing I got left to check is down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump it like this. I'm going to flip the bar and I'm going to put this edge in. So now I'm just upside down is what I did. I just flipped it around. So then I'm gonna just do a little rolling with it here. Yep, it's good. It seems to be good. I kind of just rolled it past and it's all going in. So we should be good. So now I just got to decide if I'm going to put my chain on upside down or right side up here. Let's just see here. Or the bar, I mean. Let's just put this back on. There we go. So she's all in. You can see it looks good. Looks like it slides pretty good. I can just wiggle it back and forth and it seems to be working. So I'm going to put the bar back on and we should be good to go then. So that's what I'm going to do next. Just put the bar on, get it into the sprocket here. Looks to be good. And I'm going to do this before I run it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on. I'm going to put this on and then I'm just going to roll it back and forth and see how it goes, see if it works properly. Technical difficulties, just like always. Just like always. There we go. I'm going to take my chain tensioner and back it off just a bit. There we go. That's all I needed to do. The chain tensioner was a little too far forward. This is what's nice about the keeper nuts, is you can get them started and they usually hold pretty good. They don't fall off or anything. So we'll do that. And then I'm not going to get them super tight. I just want to get them so that they're starting to be a little snug. Just where they just start to tighten. I'm going to tighten this chain tensioner just a little bit. That should be good. And then I'm going to tighten it up a little bit more. And then, it's still not super tight. Then I'm going to put both my gloves on again. Make sure I can get this. There we go. So, put both my gloves on. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it one of these. Yep, she's good. And it needs to be tightened up. It's not tight enough, but I can tell just by doing this all the way around, it's sliding real nice through the guides. The guides are going really nice through the bar groove, so the slot. I mean, it's good to go. So I always look to make sure it is on correctly. And next, I am going to just loosen these up a smidge, and then I'm going to tighten it up. Because it's ready to cut again. Well, I got to sharpen it, but other than that, we're good to go. So, there we go. I'm going to do one more check. Yep. It's tightened to my preference. I mean, I do it by feel. I just know it's tight enough. So, we're good to go. So there it is. It is good to go again, and the chain is on. It's all nice, but I just noticed something else about the saw. Handle's getting loose, and it just dawned on me. I haven't checked my nuts in a while. This one is loose. This one is missing. So I'm going to tighten it up right now, and I'm going to see if I've got another nut to go in there. So there you go. That can happen. So I am going to grab my Allen wrench. Here it is. Hex nuts, yeah, right here. And I'm just gonna guess, nope, not that one. And these, I have one of these in my chainsaw kit too, to take along into the woods, because you need, oh yeah, that's the one. There we go. Yeah, that was real loose. Extremely loose. My handle would have fell off. There, I cranked on that one. Now, the key is do I have another nut of that size? And I got a bunch of them up here, and these are all bigger ones, I can tell. These are all too big. Well, maybe not. Maybe that is the right size. No, it's the wrong size. It looks close, but it's not. So I need to get a new nut. And I happen to have a saw right up above me here that I'm cannibalizing, and we'll see if there's one in there. So I just got down my old saw. It's an old 576 that I have here. I've been cannibalizing, taking parts off of. I pulled a bolt out. It's a different thread. It's a coarse thread, not a fine thread like this one is. So it will not work. I mean, it's the right size, but it's a different thread. I could force it in there, but that would ruin it. So I'm not going to do it. So I need to get a new bolt here. At least I tightened this one up, and now I know I need to get a spare for it. So it's always good to check your nuts. So make sure you do that. So that's it for today, folks. Hopefully that helped you a little bit. Thanks for being here. Tomorrow I'm going to be back in the wood yard. You should come on back. It'll be fun. Between now and then, get outside and get cutting. Good night, Irene.